head for Newgulf. You got to Bay City, where Bay City to Wharton was the only all-weather road in that part of the county. All the roads from Lane City to Bowling and all were dirt. Bowling is a little boom town. It had boardwalks in front of the stores. We went through Bowling and toward East Bernard, toward Needville, and turned at a place they called Bubbles Corner, which was a county road that went through the production area into town. The town site, the business district had an esplanade down the middle. On the right, coming in was Simon Lewis's Dry Goods Company. Next was Miller's Barber Shop. Then the drug store, which was owned by Kaiser, I believe. Edmondson's Theater, and Duval Grocery Store. Across the street was Stafford's Garage, Brockman's Dry Goods Store, restaurant, and a confectionery, and O'Rourke's Grocery Store. On the back of O'Rourke's Grocery Store was the post office. And that brings up the fact that we had 3 famous robberies. Two guys got into the O'Rourke's, made a door come over there and open up the store, and they were trying to get into the post office. Another one was an inside job by the man delivering the mail, and the FBI was down there for that one, and they caught them. And the third one was a fellow who worked for the company, went over to Iago and robbed Mick's grocery store. The first year we went to school in a shotgun house on the road going into Mexican Town. We had outside privy. Our principal was Mr. Scott, and we chased wood rats during the rest period. The next year we moved to the main school in the 4th grade, and Mr. Scott was the principal over there. Next to the school toward town was the Mr. Manning, he take care of the school. Next to him was a big 2-story house they brought in for the lease, which was the teacher's dormitory. The school was the center of attraction that had the auditorium, and children put on plays. There wasn't any radios or TVs, so it all centered around the school. The only other building on that street was the hospital. It is set out by itself. It had Dr. Bowmer was our first physician, and they had room for apartments for 3 nurses upstairs. I'll tell you a little tale about carpet grass. In the early 30s, Mr. Nathan Bowling brought some carpet grass in and planted it in his 3-room house yard. Over many years of trimming and people getting the runners and planting them in their yards, it finally ended up there was enough runners for the golf boys to go out and sprig the golf course. And out of that little 1-3-room house yard is where all the carpet grass came from in Newgulf. In the early 30s, Santa Fe decided to run a rail line into Newgulf. In those days, there was no mechanical equipment, so they brought in what were called mule skinners. And between the lodge and where the black mules and what they call Fresnos, that Fresno scooped up the dirt and built up the railroad bed. I don't know how long it took them, but they finally got it finished, and the Santa Fe started running into Newgulf. Mr. Bolin sold the grass out of his yard for enough to pay the tuition for Reed Bolin up at A&M. The two buildings we went to school in were used by the Baptist and Methodist Church for years as a sanctuary. Rumors. It was said that the new town of Newgulf was supposed to have been named Sulphur City, but everybody that came from Old Gulf kept calling it Newgulf, so they just did away with that plan. Things I wonder about them: had a outdoor fish pond, and he grew hyacinths in it. And whenever the fish pond would get clogged up with these hyacinths, we put them in the back of the trunk of the car and take them down to Caney and throw them into Caney. I always wondered if that was the start of the flood of hyacinths in Caney. At one time, there were 4 sulfur companies on the lease. There was Baker Williams up on 442 Raw, and on the lease was Union Sulfur, where we picked up the mighty Dusty DuBois. I guess the people living in Newgulf really didn't realize that the Depression had hit. We were pretty comfortable in our little town. We had all the water and sewage and garbage pickups free. But out on the lease, there were people that still lived in old houses with dirt floors.